Okay. All right. Well, welcome everyone. This is Christy, and I'm here with the best Pampered Chef team ever. And we're
Ever.
ever, right? With an exclamation point. And I'm excited to start this booking boot camp, basically. We have 4 sessions. Tonight's the session number 1. And we're just going to really focus really over the next week. I have this plan. The first one is tonight. The second one will be Saturday morning at 10:30 Central Time, 11:30 Eastern. And then the third one will be Tuesday evening around 7. And that'll be a time, really the Saturday morning and the Tuesday, depending on your schedule, that should be some time, times that you could actually make connections right then. It'll be a little late, I think, by the time we get off here. Maybe you could send some Facebook message or something, but it'll probably be too late to actually get on the phone. And then the last one will be over kind of a lunchtime, 12:15 on Wednesday. And these sessions really will only be about 15 minutes, maybe 20. I just want to be able to share some nuggets a little bit at a time. I want to be able to brainstorm together some ideas. This first session, and I know both of you actually are the ones that commented, you aren't able to actually print off those lists right now, but hopefully tomorrow. I know, like if your printer's not working, Jill, there have been times where I've had issues with my printer, and you can upload things to Office Depot or Office Max, I'm sure does it too. So if you just go online and find your local Office Depot, you can upload. It's really cheap. You're not using your ink or your printer. You can just upload and just make it black and white, especially these things that we're printing on today. The launch list has all the color. You don't need it in color. Black and white works because these lists are going to be really valuable to you, and you could actually save the list, your customer list and your host list, and use those kind of as a rolling contact as well. And the nice thing about the list, I printed one off more in a dress label format because I'm using them as my RSVP list. But you can have that and just make notes. And if you print it off as like a list with just the email and the phone number on the customer list and host list, it's nice because you have their email, you have the way to connect with them and contact them, and you can just make notes over your conversations. Or even if you left a voicemail, then you know how often you're calling, and it just really makes you more really informed about, when was I call her? Am I calling her too much? Because sometimes I think we tend to call maybe the same people because we're not making notes about it. Or maybe you do talk to her and she says, oh, call me back in this date, or, oh, yes, we are going to do one. So it just helps you make notes so you can stay more informed, because you're not going to be able to keep, especially the more you contact more people, you're not going to be able to keep it all straight in your head. So get a notebook or a spiral notebook or a folder that you can just put those lists in. Put some blank paper in that you can take notes as you're calling. Now, I want to start this really, here we all are. Everybody should have a calendar, okay? And I know most of you have seen and know that I love these Post-it flags. If you don't have any Post-it flags, you can get Post-it flags at any office store. You can get them at Walmart, okay? And they're really not that expensive. And if you want to do 4 parties a month or 6 parties a month or 8 parties a month, a pack or 2 could last you the whole year, honestly, because I think you get like 40, in a packet. So get a couple of those so you can have that. The nice thing is, if you book a party and for some reason the host has to reschedule, you can just pull this off. You don't have a big messy square on your calendar, and you can move her, okay? Or I have one here in my margin. She had to reschedule. We haven't rescheduled her yet, so she's over here in my margin. So I know I need to connect with her, okay? So the first step, and I actually encourage you all to do this too. Were you able to do that? Take your calendar and mark the days you're available to do parties?
Yes.
Good job. Now I didn't say how far out, and I will encourage you, maybe when we get off the call today, I would go all the way through, and it kind of depends on what calendar you have. You may not have January and February yet, but I already have my February labels in there. You see? I need to add a couple more. But I already have my January in there, and here's why. As you are showing up to work and you are going to be making contacts and calls, this time of year, there are going to be people that just can't think beyond the holidays even already. Okay. And they'll be like, oh my gosh, call me after the holidays. What would you say to that? I'm just going to kind of throw this out. He says, can you call me after the holidays? Any ideas?
How about I call you January 2nd?
That's an idea.
Obviously, it's not a good one.
It's not a bad one, but it's not the best one.
Okay.
There's a best. Okay, how about this? Oh my gosh, Jill, it is so much fun to have a party after the holidays because people are been around their family so much, they're ready to get out with girlfriends and have a good time, and there's always fun specials. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and pencil you in. Pick your date because I know January is going to be filling up quickly because the specials are going to be so great. I haven't gotten for sure what it is yet, but usually January and July are some of the best specials of the year.
Perfect.
Here's the thing, and there's two reasons why you want to do that. The main reason is sometimes it's so hard to get a hold of people to get the party scheduled. If you're in a dialogue with them and they want to have a party, let's get the party scheduled. Now, you might get an objection that sounds like, oh, can you just call me after the first of the year? I sure can, but we'll probably be looking at February.
Okay.
I'll tell you, when we know this booking boot camp, what we're going to hopefully build up to, our goal is to be where, like, for instance, when we get to the 15th of October, we're booking December. Okay? That's going to be our goal. And really each month, our goal should be by the 15th of the current month, we want the next month full. And by full, that's going to be different. It can be different for all three of us. You know, full for Jill in Ohio might be 6. Full for Jill in Kansas might be 8. Full for me might be 10. You know what I mean? It could be different. But whatever full is for you, and here's why. If we're sitting at October 15th and we're making calls, or you're at that October 15th show, and somebody wants to have a show, and you say, okay, you know, I got December 1st and 3rd. And they're like, you don't have anything next month? You could say, well, let me look and see if I can add one in. But if you want to do 4 parties a month or 8 parties a month, and you already have 8 parties a month, you are very much in control of your schedule. You guys both saw the income calculator, and you saw that one party can make in your monthly income, right?
Absolutely.
So when you are confident and you have your calendar full, you could certainly add one in. Because I can tell you what, when you're starting to do like consistent 1 a week or 2 a week or 6 a month, it's going to be easier to add one in because it's not going to be as much prep. You know, it's not like you're having to kind of relearn. If you're doing a party once a month, you got 4 weeks in between each party.
Right.
And sometimes it takes a little more prep and energy to get ready for that party when you haven't done one just last week or a couple of days ago. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead and mark the days that you're available to do a party. And I always do this myself. There are some shows, like if you saw like my December especially, I pretty much, with the exception of the 4th, because that's our team meeting, that's the national meeting day, I pretty much have the 1st through the 12th, I have every day marked. Am I planning to do 12 parties in the first 12 days of December? Not necessarily. But I know I take off pretty much, not take off of work completely, but I don't do parties that last couple of weeks, right? In that first few days of January. So I want to front load. But here's the thing. As I start, like for instance, I have Friday the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, those 3 days. If I get 2 weekend parties booked that weekend, I'm not going to do a 3rd party that weekend. You know what I mean? But again, I'm in control. Okay? So sometimes overload, even if you want to just do 2 parties a week, if you have a week that you have 3 open spots, go ahead and make them open. And then once you get those filled, you can take that 3rd one out if it's not going to be comfortable for you to do 3 in that week. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So here's the next thing I want to just really emphasize is if you want to do 2 parties a week, start now. So what do you think when I say that?
start calling and start scheduling. And
There you go. So here, let's look at the week of, okay, so here we're at the weekend. And this is a little different because we have this boot camp going. So I'm going to encourage you at least 3 different times because like I said, you can't necessarily make phone calls after this, especially for you, Jill B, because it's going to be 9, it's going to be almost 10 by the time you're off here. So I want to encourage you, whether you're watching the video, we missed you, but if you're watching the video after tonight, some of these things that we're talking about to do, I want you guys to do them for sure. But like Saturday, I know some people aren't going to be able to be on live Saturday morning, but whenever you listen to that video, I want you to be able to take action sometime, plan a time. So when you're marking your calendar of when you can work and do parties, when you do something like a booking blitz where you're really focusing on adding to your show, you need to schedule blocks of time. And I want to encourage every single person to schedule 30 minutes at a time. Maybe it's easier for you. Maybe you're like, I'm going to make 10 contacts. Sometimes 10 contacts can take 15 minutes if you happen to reach people or get dialogue going with people. Sometimes it might be an hour. So I would really just encourage you guys to stretch yourselves over these next few days and this week when we're doing these calls. So show up for work, like Jill said. If you're looking at next week's calendar, let's say you're looking from the 15th to the 21st, Sunday to Saturday, and you're looking at that calendar, and you're like, I want to work 2 nights a week, and you don't have any shows scheduled. How long are you at a show when you go to a party? Approximately. How long are you away from your house?
3 hours.
Yep, about 3 hours, maybe 15, 20 minutes to get there and get home. You're there for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, right? So if you're looking at your calendar and you have no shows, but you want to do 2 shows a week, I would schedule at least 1 hour 2 times that week. It's still a third of the time that you'd be gone at a party, right?
Right.
But and there are times in my career that I have a party cancel, or maybe I only have 1 party that week, and I'm like, it's a day off. Guess what? That really doesn't do me any good, And with DVR and things like that, DVR your show. Spend your hour down here, or in your office or in your space, making calls, making contacts, and then go watch your show. And then you can fast forward through the commercials. It goes a little faster. Right?
Yep.
So you're productive both ends. So honestly, when I started doing that, and really, like if I had a cancellation at the last minute or a postponement at the last minute, when I just took a fraction of the show time to really spend not making my list or printing my list, but actually making connections with those people, it was amazing. Now, let's brainstorm a little bit. What is it about this month that is kind of cool? It's actually kind of a new thing that we learned about a little bit later than some of the other specials.
Well, the 60% off, but that's not new. And then 60% off anything, not just the original sets. And then the drawing.
Drawing. That's huge. And the 60% off of anything, because those sets are really nice. Oh my gosh, my friends that love to bake, they're all over it.
Right.
All of us, I'm not even a big baker. I love pieces that I have, but I'm not like a big baker. So I think that's huge that they can pick anything in the catalog. So another list of somebody that you could call, they're under those personal reports. You can do an order history report. Do you guys know where to find that?
Yes. I haven't looked at it in a while, but yes.
Recruiting. There's personal business reports, and under personal business reports, you can get order history, I think is the top one. And you can actually look for anybody who's ordered cutlery or cookware or rock crock. If they ordered a rock crock, hey, they can get the stand for 60% off if it's one of those 2 that fit it. So those are other places that you can look, right?
Okay.
There's a host bonus, and we know that there's the drawing. So that's why. How long does it take to plan a party? If you're calling people on the 13th, which is tomorrow, how long does it take to plan a party? Can you actually get an October party scheduled on the 13th for this month?
Absolutely. Especially a virtual party. In my opinion, at least, virtual parties are much easier than live parties to schedule quickly.
Interesting. And I agree with you. I mean, I think people can do that. But let me just say, I booked the 26th yesterday. I'm gonna bring her packet tomorrow. I set up her show this morning, and I sent her the first email. So here's the thing. I want you guys to realize you can schedule a live party in as little as 4 days.
Yeah.
And I want you guys to believe that. I've done it. There was one fall, one of my best parties. I'm sure you've probably heard this before. One of my best parties, we scheduled it on a Wednesday night. Wednesday night, like about an hour later. So almost 10 o'clock on a Wednesday night, we finalized the date for the following Sunday. So honestly, that gave us 4 days. Not even 4 days. It gave us 3 full days between the time we set the party and the time the party happened, right? So I want you guys to realize, and here's the thing with that, and this is what I told her. This is before Facebook even. This is when, well, I mean, I had Facebook, but we weren't really using it like we are today. But I told her, Deb, what you do is I'm going to send you an email. Hi, Carrie. I'm going to send you an email. We got 3 states represented on this call. I said, I'm going to send you an email, and you're going to just send it to everybody in your inbox, in your address book. And it basically just said, the subject line was, what are you doing Sunday afternoon? Who's not going to want to open an email that says, what are you doing Sunday afternoon? It didn't say you're invited to a paper chuck party. It didn't say anything about paper chuck. It just says, what are you doing Sunday afternoon? Because guess what, ladies? People know what they're doing in a few days. They don't always know what they're doing next month. Right?
Right.
Again, it kind of comes back to, we got to believe that these specials are amazing. We got to believe that, oh my gosh, we have so much time. We have plenty of time to be able to plan a party for Sunday afternoon. We're on Thursday now, so maybe Monday night. You know, we were just talking, Carrie, about how it's not too late to book a live party. It's not too late to book a couple live parties. I still would love to get a brunch party set for Saturday, the 21st. So I'm going to work on it. And I kind of went back and opened up some weekend days now that kind of football's over and Paul's not traveling as much. I opened up some more dates. So that's kind of the route I'm taking. Hey, I opened up some more dates because they just added these fantastic specials for hostesses in October. Okay? So know your specials. And if you don't know them, print them off or screenshot them or something where you can have them in front of you. I think that's important to have the details in front of you. That way it kind of gives confidence. Right? Okay. Yep. The last thing I want to talk about before we stop here, well, there's still 2 more things. One thing I want to encourage you guys to do is schedule your own party. Especially if it's been a while since you've done one at your house, schedule your own party. Find a Sunday afternoon. Maybe call it a class. Maybe call it a Meals and Minutes class. I want to teach you guys how to get get some meals on the table within 20 minutes. I want to teach you how to prep for some meals. And maybe it's a pie making class if you're the dessert person, and like to bake. But call it a class. I mean, I was on a call today. We could do a little research and find out, like in the area where you live, find out how much it costs to go to a cooking class. I mean, probably 15 years ago, a group of us went to Jungle Gyms, which is a place in Cincinnati, and they did a cooking class. It cost us like $75 each, and we got a packet stapled together of recipes. We got to cook the recipe, and we got to eat like this 4-course meal. That's what we got for our $75. It was fun. It was about 2.5 hours or so. But guess what? If somebody comes to your cooking class, they're going to learn a lot. They're going to eat some good food. You can give them some recipes stapled together, or better yet, emailed to them, right? And if they spend $75, they're going to get products that they can use in their house.
Yeah. Yep.
So that might be something that you can add to your calendar, okay? Now, how many of you, this is kind of a little bit off, and of course I can't find mine now. Oh, here they are. How many of you have ever heard of affirmations, positive affirmations?
Yep.
Anybody thought they were a little corny?
Yep.
I mean, seriously, I've sat through, I can't tell you how many. They talk about that affirmations, and my first thought is, right?
Yep.
Not even a cheerleader type. Like I like to get people excited and get it. I have heard so much lately. And I mean, one gal talked about how she's heard them and she would try them and not really doing them right. And I'm probably not to the point of doing them right yet, but I'm like, I want to try this. I want to really try it the right way. And I want you guys to write, and these are going to be specific ones, because ideally you want to write 8 to 10, and they're going to, maybe half of them are going to deal with your work, and a couple of them are going to deal with just you as a mom, or you as a wife, or you as a, a friend. But here's my first one. And this is something, and it kind of goes back to the belief triangle. And, sometimes it's hard to believe, but you kind of have to tell yourself that your mind is weird. It really is. It's kind of interesting how it was created to work. But our self-talk, especially as women, tends to be negative. Mm-hmm. Right? And it's, and I've heard me hear that. I'm like, oh, it's not really. But when I started paying attention to really kind of what I'm thinking in my mind, it kind of is, and it may not necessarily be directed to me, but maybe it's just like, oh, nobody wants to have a show. I can't get a hold of anybody. Maybe it's things like that. So here's my one that's specifically related to bookings. I'm a booking magnet. I confidently book 10 to 12 parties each month. Now, it's been a long time since I booked 10 to 12, and honestly, I want to hold 8 to 10. I don't want to hold 12 necessarily. But the idea of I'm a booking magnet, like people want to have parties. They want to have me to come into their house. Another one that's really good is we have the best host program around. People benefit so greatly by hosting a Pampered Chef party. They have fun and they earn so much. That's a fact. I mean, honestly, we do really have the best host program around.
Yeah.
So, and then you can come up with a third one. I treat my hosts to $165 to $215 free products every time I go to their house. That's kind of doing a couple things. It's like you're pampering your host, you have hosts, and you have a average, right? So here's a little bit. We're going to touch on this a little bit more, not necessarily in this booking boot camp session. As I learn more, I'm going to share with you. And I kind of have to get out of my own way here. That was almost negative self-talk when I was first hearing about this. And I kind of first started thinking, that's stupid. That's so corny, right? That's kind of like defeats the purpose. I really feel like if each one of us could take 3 affirmations, positive affirmations regarding bookings, I'd like you guys to do that. And you don't have to share them with anybody. But here's the thing. I have some affirmations here on my paper. I need to write them more than once because I need to keep this one here in my office. I do need to take one copy and tape it to my mirror in my bathroom. The one girl who just promoted to executive, she says them out loud while she's brushing her teeth. She's like, nobody can even understand me because I'm brushing my teeth, but I'm saying them out loud. So she said my brain hears them differently. So anyway, I'm kind of getting excited about doing this corny thing. Okay. Any questions about that?
No.
Okay. So I am going to post kind of a highlight, just the outline of the things that we talked about. I'm going to also post this recording. And I'm going to post, there is a recording I have to find. Becky said she told me where to look for it. But I think there was 6 people. It's like a 20-minute, I think it's an audio that has all kinds of booking ideas on it. So I'm going to put that out on our team page. I'm going to encourage you guys to listen to it when you can because it's going to give you some specifics. Saturday morning, we're going to talk more in depth of words to say, what to say, and things like that. That's going to be our Saturday. Okay. Thanks for joining, girls.
Thank you.
It was a little longer than I thought it was going to be. But for our first one, I think that's okay. So I want you to just have a lot of success this fall. This is going to build us up. What we do in the fall is going to set us up for a successful winter. Okay, transition.
Yep.